3, 2. You are listening to KTI 91.1, The One, and KCYP 97.7, The City. This is DJ Destiny here on RGV Rocks. For people who don't know who we are or what we do, RGV Rocks is a radio show and now an online podcast dedicated to local talent events and all the wonderful people in the RGV, such as you and I. Today, we've had this guest on our show before, probably back in 2018 or 2019, around there. This is Christopher Choi from VNbien. So welcome. We haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been a while. Thanks so much for having me back.
Yeah,
It feels great.
I think the last time we interviewed you was when the Lurker came out. So
That
that
was
was a while.
2019 summer.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
And honestly, like VNBN has been growing a lot. I think it's like 860.
Yeah, we're at 863 as of now, I think. Yeah. That's I think when a lurker came out, we're around like 600. So that's like 260-ish. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. 200 more subscribers for 2 more years. Pretty much.
Yeah. Hopefully that 1,000.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a couple of things. Like, how's your day? How is it up in Maine? Because I know it's like college years now.
Yeah, no, it's been a pretty chill day. Surprisingly, because it was first day of classes for me. So only had 2 classes, had a big chunk of time in between. So got to take things slow. It's been pretty great. Weather definitely different from the RGV. It's not as humid and it's not 103 over there. Yeah. But no, I'm enjoying it. It's great to see familiar faces. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called?
How's your day been?
My day's been like terrible. Not terrible. It's just like terrible because of the weather. Because oh my gosh, it's been like 2 consecutive weeks. It's just been like really high weather. It's like up to 110 around there. I know like one week it was like 116, and I was like, what? Why is it 116? It's never been this high. So
take care of yourself. That's rough.
Yeah, it's been really rough. And then not only that, I'm still kind of getting used to it because like if y'all don't know, I'm from Edinburgh, Texas, or McAllen. I hometown McAllen, yeah. But what's it called? For me, RGV has been like around like okay, high 90s, 100. You know, I'm used to that kind of weather, and it's been like humid weather. It's not like it's like wet, humid weather down there. So like here in Kingsville, it's dry. It's like desert weather, and it's like
tumbleweed.
Brutal. Yeah, pretty much. And it's like oh my gosh. And then we had rain yesterday, and that was like that was a blessing. That was a blessing because what's it called? Yeah. No, there was wind, and I was like, oh, thank God, there's wind. Like I can actually breathe.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But yeah, welcome back to the show, Chris. It's been a while.
Thanks for having me back. Yeah, it's great to see you again.
So, if you don't, what's it called? For our new people here, we usually do this question every single time that there's an interview. I know we didn't do it last time. What's it called? How would you describe the Valley? Like, what is your favorite part about the Valley? I know we usually ask this question on our show. I know I asked you like a long time ago, but for the new people joining in, like, what is your favorite part about the Valley?
Oh God, I think the Valley is definitely a hidden gem for a lot of stuff, especially well, this summer I think I've been exploring a lot more of the food. Like I've visited a lot more local places and the street food there, a lot of Tex-Mex, authentic. So, oh my God, like for sure, I definitely explored the food aspect of it. But I've always said, I think, especially the arts district where you guys are based in, like the incubator, that whole area, I think it's really unique too, how everyone has their own creative passions into pursuing it, and it makes it into business as well. And it's really a really diverse place for somewhere on the tail end of Texas. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask, like, where are you from? Like, hometown based?
Yeah, I for summers and I went there for high school. So McAllen, Texas is where I'm from. But currently, but currently I'm based in Waterville, Maine for college. Yeah.
And what are you studying actually? Like, what's your major?
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna have to declare this soon, but I'm planning on pursuing independent major in film. So I'm gonna major in that and minor in environmental science.
All right,
so
that's the pretty plan. Cool. That's hopefully really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm doing communications and then like minoring in art because like I used to like I do drawing a lot and stuff like that. I really wanted to like go into like graphic design. I'm taking graphic design right now. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. No, your skills are great too. Like your art commissions. Like I see it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That's definitely up your alley.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get this interview out.
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce my words right now. Let's get this interview on, shall we? So Christopher Choi, you've been in VNBN for a long time. How did it start? And also, what inspired you to create the name VNBN?
Oh God. Okay. So let's see. If we're doing timeline, I started the actual channel. It used to be called something saucy. It's an interesting name, but summer of 2017, I honed on my video editing skills that freshman year. So it was the summer after freshman year of high school. And me and my friend Brian Lee, we got really into anime that summer, like One Punch Man and stuff. So as freshmen in high school do, and we wanted to make our own anime short films and like anime inspired like live action things. So we whipped up really bad costumes, and it gave me an opportunity to like practice my editing skills too. So back then I was still at iMovie. So 2017 we started that, and we filmed for a bit. And when the school year started for sophomore year, my friend Dylan LaPresse actually had his he also started a similar anime like esque inspired video projects, right? And I guess you could say anime was the root of it all. But so I asked them, yeah, like, hey, we should collaborate sometime. We should film some stuff together. So we ended up doing some filming some things together, and we never actually uploaded right after. We kept the videos under wraps. And then what's it called? When we finally had something ready to upload, we went ahead and said, all right, why don't we just combine channels and see where it goes from there? Because I mean, the sub count's already there. People watch our stuff. So from then on, we decided to upload to VNbien, and very nice was something that Dylan said a lot. So it kind of caught on to me and my other friend Nick Lyons. So we said very nice a lot. And then we're like, what rhymes with VN if you shorten it? We thought bien, it's like it also means nice. So VNbien, very nice, nice. So that's where the name came from, and it caught on.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, that's where it all started.
I've noticed now the mascots changed. Instead of a chicken, now it's a slug. Would you want to go into
Yeah.
that? And like why it's a slug?
Yeah, so back then we filmed this little the mini series. It's really funny actually. It's called Cops. And a lot of from the first episode all the way to the second, we had this reoccurring actual chicken, like a baby chick in the first episode. And the second episode, you could see it's like a grown-up chicken now. We named him Kevin. And so he was kind of like the unofficial mascot for VNBN. He lived on Dylan's farm, and sadly, I think like a year later, Dylan told me he got eaten up. But
Oh,
it's kind of tragic. It's kind of tragic. But some coyote snuck in or something. But
oh
after
man.
that, we started this SEP series. So in memoriam of Kevin, we kept him for like a year and a half, and then we started this SEP series late 2019. And a really big aspect of SEP, if you don't know, it's a creative writing project, are the anomalies and different creatures and whatnot. And one of them is a talking sea slug, and he speaks in a British accent. So we were like, that'd be a really cute mascot. So a lot of people may not realize this, but that's SCP-1867, and that's our mascot, a really dapper looking slug.
I want to get into that actually, like with the new SCP series and like addendum
Yeah.
side. How did you get into like creating the what's it called, the mini series or like the series in general?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I think let's see, junior, sophomore year, like a couple of years way back. There's a series called Confinement by Lord Bung on YouTube, and we got really inspired by what they did. You know, they had really cool stories, and we knew what SCP was beforehand. It was like a creative writing project where written to look like fake government documents about creatures and monsters. And we really liked how they got like the articles focused on pre-existing ideas, but they elaborated on it with original characters. And we also thought, okay, VNBN, our past short films have done really crazy, like absurd things. Like, you know, we had like a vampire hunting magician fight some dude in VR. It's crazy stuff like that. And we're like, writing about like anomalies and monsters is right up our alley. So we're like, yeah, let's elaborate on that. Let's use some pre-existing characters, introduce our own original characters, write our own original story about a really rundown site with a ragtag group of misfits. So that's where we got the idea. This was right after we finished like The Lurker, which is a little short film we made to conclude our last storyline. And from there on, it just took off. We had a lot of actors join in. It encouraged us to reach like maintain a certain level of professionalism in terms of the quality, because SCP has a really big following. So it also encouraged us to push our skills further: VFX, acting, editing, everything, our whole production value. So it was a step in the right direction, and Yeah, that's where we are currently. We actually just finished filming season 3. You actually helped out
Yeah.
too. Destiny plays a role as Dr. Des Mertens. She's a scientist, and we just wrapped up season 3 this summer, so we're in the post-production editing process.
Hey,
Yeah,
congrats.
that's
Yeah,
where we're at.
that was a whole trip.
Yeah, that was a whole trip. That was a mouthful. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody was already in college by then, and it was like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And then the pandemic was like the other thing that we had to worry about. Oh, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, yeah.
How did the pandemic like I guess
Oh man.
affect you in terms of like film production? Because I know like we were stuck on season 2 by that time.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Okay. So when did the pandemic hit? Like for us in the Valley, it started coming in like March 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were still in school then, and we were still thinking of season 1 by then, right? We still had one episode of season 1 to release, which was Dungeons and Dave, starring our wonderful actor Damien Delbois. And around that time, we had a whole stream of episodes planned out actually for like a finale to like end the season. This whole concept was originally supposed to be a limited series, like one season get over with. So we had a whole plan for an overarching arc. We had actors and scripts planned. We just needed to film this one last thing. So we filmed Dungeons and Dave, and then a couple weeks later, spring break hit, and during spring break, we got the announcement, oh yeah, COVID's coming and everything's shutting us down, right? So I tried to get things on the line, and we were still holding out hope. Maybe it'd go away in like a month. That didn't happen. So I kept the actors updated and stuff. Things didn't work out. So what we ended up doing was during that whole quarantine period, me and my friend Esteban Duran, he's also a writer for the series. We wrote up a bunch of other scripts and concepts and ideas for a whole nother season. We had episodes that we filmed beforehand that we never got to release that are out now actually in season 2. So we spent our time editing all that. It also encouraged us to do different mediums. So that summer we worked on like animated lo-fi videos starring our characters. It was pretty successful. So it definitely halted our progress on filming the rest of the season. But what we got out of it was new special videos, new mediums, animations, a whole new season, and another season right now, actually. And the pandemic was still kind of rough around that same year of December. So and we had usually in our episodes we in a season we have 6 episodes, but we only had 5 planned out for season 2. So that December, me and Dylan, a couple of other reoccurring actors, Mia Villarreal and Eric Hernandez, we met up that break and filmed the final episode, and it turned out pretty good. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's how the pandemic kind of affected us, but I'm so glad we got another chance at it this summer.
Mm-hmm. And how
Yeah.
did you have, well, I guess what was the trouble, or how did you guys like come up with like the character designs, and as well as like who can play like the certain actors and
Oh
within
yeah.
the show?
We got a lot of inspiration from a lot of like sitcoms focusing on the mundane. Like you could name a whole bunch of examples, like Parks and Rec, it's a government office. The Office, it's an office. Superstore, it's a retail store, right? And we thought those look like normal dudes. They're not like your everyday like actors. They're not overly satirized or whatever. And we thought, yeah, well, we're like a bunch of random high schoolers at the time, and we're like, yeah, we fit the bill pretty much for acting. So we're like, okay, if our story's focusing on a very rundown facility capturing these monsters, we're going to want to focus on a lot of mundane jobs or people who aren't actually great or they don't excel in their line of work. So yeah, we thought, hey, can you, like, literally this was one of the audition processes. We asked them of our actors, can you look like super dead inside for me? And they did it, and they're like, oh yeah, perfect, you could play an accountant. Can you look super dead inside of me? Okay, you could play HR, right? HR rep. So that's how we thought of a lot of our characters, based on a lot of the personalities of the actual actors, and also a lot of them contributed to like their own characters too. Like our one of our fan favorite characters, Dave, played by Damien Delbois again. We told him, like, you have a really really good deadpan monotone stare. What if we kept that the whole series and you never said a word, like you're just a silent monotone character? And he was like, I dig it, that's perfect. And that's his signature look. And so those are a lot of the facility members, the characters, and a lot of the other characters that are a little more larger than life or non-human, like humanoid. We borrowed that from the SCP universe, but we often like to put our own spin on it too. Like Dr. Bright's a big character in the SCP universe, so that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. What's it called? Going into, because you have a little bit of spoilers within like season 2 of
Mhm.
tying back to the original stuff from like the Lurker.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
Is there any correlation with the lurker and also SCP addendum aside?
So the lurker, yeah, that was if for reference, there's a without spoiling too much, the finale of season 2, one of our main characters goes on a really bad trip because in an attempt to like erase his memory. So the whole episode takes place in his head. And he meets one of our old characters from the lurker lore, which was named Professor Choi, played by me. He was a really old character. I haven't played him in like 2 years. And with that being said, we were like, what's the most absurd character we can bring back and something that someone would see while they're tripping out? Probably a character from the lurker. So we brought in Professor Choi. It was a very science-based episode. So we brought in a scientist. And in terms of connection, we always did say that like the lurker focused on the multiverse a lot. Like, so there were different versions of characters played by the same actor. So we thought, you know what, this could honestly be considered canon. Professor Choi just made his way into Dylan's head. So
basically you're
there's a loose connection there. Yeah, pretty much. That caught everyone by surprise, I think, at the premiere. If I remember correctly, they're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I remember like being in the premiere. It's like, wait, what? And then what's it called?
Pumpkin Man? Exactly.
Yeah. And then what's it called? What's your favorite, like honestly, what was your favorite episode from like the recent series, not just like the lurker and
Oh yeah. So like addendum aside, season 1 and season 2 have very different feels. So I'd say from season 1, Dungeons and Dave has to be my favorite, just because of the cinematography. It's a really simple story, not much happens. Literally, Dave chooses to go fishing instead of going on a grand, elaborate RPG D&D quest when offered. But the cinematography was really fun to film. The actual filming process was insane too. Our friend Diego fell off a boat into Osaka. Esteban dropped his keys into a fire pit. It was a fun day to film. Really rough too, but really fun day. And the cinematography, I really enjoyed editing all of it and putting it together. So that's my favorite from season 1. Season 2, I'd have to say Dr. Bright, A Fistful of Brights Part 3, just because that was our biggest scale production yet. We had 20 people on set. We had Lloyd Rigney, we had Derek Rodriguez. We had everyone collaborate, and it was just a big collaboration of a bunch of creators. And we had really good choreography and fight scenes. We had good cinematography. I think we really stretched our exercised our writing muscles during that episode. So that's like a personal favorite for me. Mm-hmm. And first tracing back to the lurker, I think the actual lurker was like really fun to make. Yeah, yeah, we were definitely behind on like practical skills back then because we were focused on like story and having fun. But it was very fun to film. Yeah, the lurker.
So who's your favorite character?
From the lurker or like the lurker lore?
I think well, you know what? I've never asked it last interview. Just like favorite character from lurker and also from SCP and Aside.
I gotta say, like as lore in general, Blackberry, because like he reappears so much. But in the lurker movie, Chef Dill, I think it definitely was Chef Dill. Angstman, it was also technically his movie. He got the most screen time, but Chef Dill showed a lot of heart. Let's see. In addendum aside, God, I feel like I'm being biased by saying Dave.
Oh my gosh.
I feel biased for saying Dave, but Dave is like something I'm really proud of, like bringing
to
life. Yeah.
Because he's one of like the most interesting characters. He's just like,
it's like he has zero thoughts in his head or all the thoughts. Like you can't tell. The man is an enigma. Yeah.
He's a man of mystery.
Man of mystery. If you haven't noticed, this mustache changes every scene too.
Yeah, I've seen that because what's it called? We had to Damien had to like change the mustache every time because he couldn't get like the same mustaches.
Damien buys a pack of mustaches. He brings his own like wardrobe to set. It's a whole pack of like dollar store mustaches. And they're all different. It's like a handlebar, like a regular one. And the mustaches are bad adhesive. They have bad adhesive. So every scene he has to switch it out because the camera switches a lot. We're like, let's roll with it. It's like, if you notice, kudos to you.
Going on to the newer season, you said that it possibly ends at season 3. Is there gonna be possibly a season 4?
So I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah, we have actually towards the end of the summer talked about like ending the series and pursuing other projects, but we have to end season 3, and we actually have a lot of stories we want to tell still in the Addendum Aside universe. So season 3, most of it is all filmed and ready to go. We just have to edit and pump it out. We're planning on releasing maybe like the first half within the year. So hopefully look for that. But after season 3, we still have like a lot of stories we wanted to tell. So we were thinking of maybe making a really short season 4 or making a special like movie to finish it off like The Lurker. So like maybe a special episode, you know. So that's been up in the air. Nothing's been put in place yet. We're still on season 3, but we've been discussing that a lot. Yeah, we do have a pretty satisfying ending, I hope, for the entire lore.
And without any spoilers, do you want to talk about like the newer projects possibly?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I attend Colby College. That's where I am at right now. And I've been working on another project for the past year called the working title was Coming of Age.mov, but now it's just going to be called Neil.mov. And it's an actual hopefully feature film, student film that we're working on. We got a grant from the school and everything. So we've been using that time to film everything, all the money and stuff. So this summer, July to August, or June to July, actually, I went to Houston to shoot a big portion of that movie for a month. And now we got to actually shoot the rest half of the movie while in Maine. So that project's been going pretty well. I'm excited to film the rest of it. We're still in production mode, and hopefully we'll wrap up production by the end of the year and move on to post. But this movie is about essentially a film student. He's infatuated with making movies. He wants to make a coming of age movie. He's written one, but he doesn't know how to execute it as well. So the solution to that is him and his friends make a whole list of coming of age activities inspired by all his favorite coming of age movies. And he goes down the list and learns a lot about himself, his passions, his responsibilities. So it's really a love letter to loving yourself and your creative hobbies and your passions and collaborating.
Oh, it's cute.
Yeah. I'm really excited for it. It's a real big passion project.
Congratulations on the grant though. That's like
Appreciate it. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm just as surprised. It's been great. Yeah.
Actually going on to that, because I saw you like post some of like that filming process. Have what has been, I would say, have you had any trouble filming, especially like with I guess the series or even like the movie that's coming up?
Oh yeah. Oh, the problems always come up. It's interesting. Like I think our approach to that before was we knew that problems would come up a lot, but also we weren't as professional. So we thought to ourselves, yeah, let's improvise. But now we actually got to write things and follow the plan, follow an itinerary. Shooting schedules are a nightmare. It's insane. You got to go between scene 5 to 55 within a day. But when we filmed season 3 early this June, some troubles I guess we had were just logistically executing the story. We packed a really big finale, and I think we might have to revise some plans. But let's see, that was a really hard part. Like writing was actually a big hard part for that. Everything else kind of worked out essentially, but our schedule was also really tight too at the incubator when we filmed. But it was also a great experience. We got a lot of cool scenes and locations done there. So that was just a problem with season 3. In terms of Neil.mov, Houston, we oriented a lot of scenes and activities in the movie for sunny weather, outdoorsy stuff, right? But a big issue with that was it was hurricane season around Houston.
Oh my gosh.
Almost every day. It was not great. There was this one day where I locked keys in the car, in the back of the car, the trunk. So we spent our whole day going for the keys. It was a really big learning process. Casting actors was really fun. We had a lot of actors and they weren't able to make it. So a lot of times we had to do impromptu. I ended up getting an acting role. That wasn't even supposed to be planned. So just Houston was a roller coaster of different challenges, but we made it work. And I like the footage so far. I hope you guys do too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So when is it coming out again, or like hopefully like supposed
Hopefully the first cut will be presented and like released January. But my partner and I, Caleb Carr, we said if we like it enough, we'll work on it a little more and spend the next year on it, just furnishing it up. But hopefully January 1st. Yeah.
That's so cool. So
We'll
basically you
we'll
pulled
present
like
the code and everything.
yeah.
Definitely.
So basically in the movie you basically pulled like a Stanley.
Yeah, pretty
If
much.
you really think about it.
We both had to act like really big roles, and we were writing a movie. We did not plan for that. We were like, yeah, let's focus on directing. But now half the time, like I have to be in front of the camera too, and it's like, oh, I gotta exercise some of my acting muscles and everything. So it was interesting. Yeah.
And I would say, what has been your favorite part about like acting in general, or even like directing?
Oh yeah, no, directing has always been something I've done like on an amateur level, like even now, like directing, I started off doing that. So something really fun about that is I think if you write the story, you get to see it to life. You want to commit to it and see it come to life. So you bring everyone together, you ask about different people's skills, like if they can pull off like some graphic design aspects of it, an animated aspect of it, really tell the actors how to hone in on it to keep your story together. And I think the most satisfying part is one, being on set, you put trust, you put faith in yourself, like, okay, all the hard work you're doing now is gonna really like hit you when you're editing. And usually if it's a good shoot, it does. When you're editing, you see everything come together and you're like, it worked out perfectly. Everyone worked out really well. So I think just the satisfaction of seeing everything come together and putting all of people's talents and combining them, I think that's really satisfying about directing. In terms of acting, a lot of times when I do act, I commit to a lot of roles that aren't too pressing. So I have fun with it a lot. I think acting is something I have fun with it a lot, but I do think recently I had to challenge myself more with acting as well. I'm willing to learn more as well. So that's just some territory that's a little bit untouched, but I'd love to pursue it more because writing your characters is one thing, but bringing it to life yourself is another. Yeah.
And since we're ending the end of the interview, I would ask, what advice would you have for anybody who's wanting to like go into film or start their own like YouTube channel?
Oh yeah. I definitely encourage go at it and trust the process. Sometimes people like write and they're like, I'm not gonna see this come to life, right? This is really long. This is gonna be hard to commit to. But honestly, if you see yourself, like if you can envision right off the bat on paper, you can see it on a screen. Just go through it to trust the process, follow the necessary steps, like casting the actors, locations, and everything. Everything kind of falls into place. There's no specific order. It's just you trust yourself and eventually you go from there. Your first thing will be pretty okay or hopefully really good, and it will just get better from there. And you're gonna have bad days too, but you just keep going at it and trust the process. Yeah.
All
A lot
right,
of
thank
trial
you
and
so
error.
much. Thank you so much for joining us like today on RGV Rocks. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It was wonderful.
Do you have any shout outs before you leave?
Oh yeah. I'd like to shout out this season and in the previous season actually. Diego Paredes and let's see, George. They have a podcast called Nonsensical Nomad, so I'd like to shout them out. Of course, Last Star 99, your channel.
91.
Not Last Star 91. My bad.
Yeah, you're good. Everybody gets it wrong once in a while.
Roll it back. And of course, Jeg the Poet and a lot of actors and people who collaborated with me this summer. Thanks so much. It's been amazing. So yeah.
All right. Any social media plugins?
Follow VNbien on Instagram, and our channel is youtube.com/VN and then BN, BIEN. So you can thank us there. And also shout out to Zachary Da Silva. He has an office at the incubator. He helped us a lot during season 3. It was like with equipment. So appreciate that.
Thank you so much. So before we go, actually, before like everything ends all together, what
Mhm.
can fans look out for season 3?
You can expect a lot more of Site 1313 and the characters that you love. You'll get your own taste of Dave, a lot more screen time with Dave, actually. And let's see. It's just going to be a really fun season, I think. Like, you don't have to commit too much to it. Yeah, you'll watch and you'll have fun with it.
All right.
You
Thank you
really
so
wanted to
much.
put a beach episode like anime.
Oh, really?
No, we never made
It's like, I bet.
that was a running joke. We're like, beach episode? Yeah, beach episode.
Beach anime episode. Let's go.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us today, Joy. That's like
Really
amazing.
appreciate it.
It's been nice talking to you too, because it's been a while.
Oh yeah, no, it's wonderful to catch up with you like this too.
And if anybody wants to check us out or learn more about what we do on our show, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. RGV Rocks and Twitter is just Rocks RGV. Once again, is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would like to give a shout out to everyone listening to RGV Rocks, especially on our new station, KTI 91.1 The One. I want to remind everybody, thank you for listening to our humble little show. We'll be here next time on RGV Rocks. See ya.
Thanks.